Okay guys, time for the next step in the project here. For the tool chest project, we need to start making our drawer divider frames. Okay, so Brianna already has her frame all mocked up here. It's dry fit, and it looks really good. I'm just going to pop that out for now so that you guys can see the dados. She's done a really nice job squaring up all of our blind dados in there for where these drawer divider frames are going to sit. We now need to prep the stock for these pieces. You're going to make these all out of 4/4 stock or 1-inch full stock. Leave them as thick as you can, so you don't actually, we're kind of breaking our rules a little bit. Don't bother jointing a face or planing to thickness yet. Just rip to width, and we're going to resaw that in half so that we end up with two pieces that are a little thicker than 3/8. We're going to leave them thick. Once they get glued up in a frame, we're going to run the whole frame itself through the thickness sander down to our 3/8 of an inch so it fits in our dado, right? We know these are too thick to fit in our dado at this point, and that's fine. That's going to give us a little bit of forgiveness if our glue joint doesn't quite line up. So we can, however, cut these things to their final length. So to find that out, we're going to take a ruler and we're going to measure from baseline to baseline. So that is basically what we call the root of the dovetail joint, or the bottom of the dovetail joint. And on Brianna's, we're 15 1/4. So that is the same as our inside dimension. That's a good place to start. We now have to add the depth of the dado on each side. So we know we cut our dados here at 1/4 inch deep, and so we have to add 1/4 and 1/4 to 15 1/4. So some quick math tells me that's 15 3/4. Right? It works out easy on hers. Okay, so 15 3/4. So she's actually already done that. She's pre-cut all of her long ones at 15 3/4, actually minus just a hair. So she's on the money there. The long ones go full length, so they go right from one end to the other. The other ones, however, the short ones, and I'll get this going here so you guys can see this. The other ones go between the long ones. So I'll just rest this in here to simulate how this is going to be in the frame. When we have this completed drawer frame in here, it doesn't actually quite go all the way to the back panel. And Brad, if you can zoom in a little bit on this here just so that everyone can see. I'm going to leave about an 1/8 inch gap at the back here. Right, that's going to allow this side panel a little bit of room for expanding and contracting. Then I'm going to measure what the difference is, what the remainder on the inside is there. And once again, Brianna's already pre-cut these, so they're good. So this is how the panel is going to get glued up. All right, she's actually a little bit long because we want a little bit more of a gap at the back, but we can always trim that after the panel is glued up. Okay, so that's what you guys are aiming for. She's got all her pieces ready to go. We're now going to do some biscuits. I'll get this out of the way. So I've made 2 jigs for you guys to use that are going to help in this process with biscuiting. Because these are all small pieces, they're very difficult to biscuit, especially because we're going to be biscuiting on these ends here. It's going to be a butt joint with a biscuit. I've made these little jigs to help you guys with a bit more stability with the biscuit joiner. Okay, this jig here is going to be used to biscuit in the ends of our short ones, and this other one is going to be used to biscuit in the sides of our long ones, and I'm going to show you that as the next step here. You guys should already know at this stage how to set up the biscuit joiner, right? So we're down to 90 degrees with our fence, and our little red line here indicates where the blade comes out. We're going to be using number 0 biscuit, so I've got that set, and we got to crank this fence way down so that right where the blade comes out is about halfway through the thickness of our material here. Okay. So that looks pretty good to me. So you can see there, I've lined that piece up. The red line is about halfway through the thickness of our material. That's right where we want to be. Okay. So now, we're ready to go. Snug that up. So right in the middle, on the end of here, again, we're going to hold the fence and make sure that that's nice and flat. Like that. Flip it around. I'm actually a little bit low on my adjustment there. Something must have moved a little. That's okay as long as they're all the same. Right? It doesn't have to be right in the middle. Okay. So there's our two short ones. Our number 0 biscuits are going to go right in the ends, just like that. This is how they're going to get glued up. Okay, so we'll leave those here for now. Our long ones now, we're going to use this jig for, because our long ones need a biscuit slot in the side. Okay, so we're going to put one right on the end here. And someone throw me a pencil, please. Thank you, Brianna. So we can actually mock this up, and we know that we'll aim right for the center. That's right where we need a biscuit. Same thing over here. So right in the center of where the middle of our short board would be. Okay, so again, right? So these little stops here, this little set of framework is here so that it helps you kind of get more reference surface from the biscuit joiner itself. That's sort of the whole purpose of these jigs. Now, I can't obviously do the other side the same way because it would otherwise be on the wrong side, so I need to turn the jig around. Then I can use the other half to do the same operation. Okay. So you guys would do that with with all of your pieces, the whole operation. Now we can just do a quick little mock-up here, or a dry fit, to see how our pieces go. And look at that, they actually fit. Make sure too that before we actually go and glue this up, that all of the little fuzz and the little splinters and tags that are left are cleaned out, so that there's nothing preventing that glue joint from coming up tight. This is a very simple little glue joint now. At this point we would just put glue on either side of those biscuits and a little bit of glue in the slot itself. Clamp this thing up. Doesn't even need a lot of pressure. Measure corner to corner for square, right? To double check your square. And that's going to be it. That's going to become the frame now that serves as our drawer divider that gets glued up in the frame of our chest. Right? That's it.